All right, what's going on, you guys? I want to talk about the master class in Peekaboo style that Canelo put on against Kovalev. Now, typically, Canelo was working sort of a balanced pressure style, not really in the Peekaboo, but for this match, he changed it up, brought the hands high, worked some head movement and level changes. Now, if you are a fighter working the Peekaboo style or applying pressure to close the gap, then Canelo put on an excellent showcase of those techniques and tactics in that fight. So I'm gonna go over some of the top things that he did in that fight. You can go back and watch it and check it out so you can bring those skills and tactics to your game to really improve your Peekaboo style and pressure fighting. All right, let's get into it. Now, first thing I want you to notice when you watch that fight is that Canelo always tried to get to his right distance, his ideal distance before he threw any punches, before he launched his attack. So you'll see him working, stepping forward, getting to that right spot. If you're a pressure fighter and you don't get to your right range, your right distance, then you're either gonna come up short or you're gonna get countered coming in. The challenge is that as you're trying to get to that ideal distance, you have to walk through a wall of fire. You have to walk through those punches sometimes. You have to go through a little bit of a barrier of what's coming at you. And that's part of the other elements that I'm gonna break down that you really need for pressure fighting and the Peekaboo style. But number one, before you're able to launch an attack, is you have to get to your right distance. All right, number two is active defense. Now, a lot of people, when they think about the Peekaboo style, they think about Mike Tyson. But Mike Tyson really had more of a dynamic head movement Peekaboo style, sometimes working the cover, often working this. And when people try to imitate Mike Tyson, they often end up like this, which is not exactly what's going on. If you're only here, you're working on just head movement alone, it's really limiting and also can set you up, makes you more predictable. You watch Canelo throughout that fight. Active defense, not just hands high, parrying, covering, okay, moving about, covering, blocking, using those hands to take a little bit of heat off those punches. If you watch Winky Wright as well, you're gonna see a lot more of this. Not just dead hands or hands here like this. Those hands are slightly active, working the defense. And you watch Canelo work that through the whole entire fight. So number two factor that you need is active defense. All right, number three. Even though you're coming forward, applying pressure and trying to get into range, you don't want to be moving forward all the time. You don't always want to be predictably moving forward. So you watch Canelo in that fight, did something that you didn't see Tyson do too much, but he did do it in the Tony Tubbs fight. Ever watch Tyson versus Tony Tubbs? Is the pullback or to pull to adjust range. It's not enough to always be coming forward and moving the head side to side. Every now and then you want to pull back while keeping your feet where they are or taking a little step and get yourself back in. This makes you less predictable, makes you a little bit harder to hit, allows you sometimes to get into range without getting hit so you get even closer into range. Make sure that the pull with the hands high on the defense is also part of your Peekaboo style game. So the other element, number three, is making sure to adjust range, not always moving forward. Number four is what you'd probably predict, Winky Wright, Mike Tyson, Canelo in this fight, working off the jab. That jab is the first shot, boom, that's gonna set you up to come in. Jab, move the head, jab, change the levels, cover, jab to come in. So many ways to work the jab with the Peekaboo style. Either you're slipping and throwing, slip while you throw, then slip, boom. Or just setting the opponent back, boom, touch, and then move, making yourself less predictable. Use that jab to close the gap, set up your offense, and throw off the timing of your opponent. All right, number five is what you're probably already thinking about, head movement and changing levels. Now in this fight, Canelo's head movement is a little more subtle. It's less of the snappy slips like you see with the Tyson, but you see him changing levels. You see him working small little slips, just getting his head off that center line, boom, and then sometimes throwing from there. And you watch the way Canelo did it in this fight. The level changes in the head movement, very subtle, but just enough so the punches were gliding by him, really allowed him to close the gap and apply pressure. So essential to the Peekaboo style, pressure fighting, closing the gap, is level changes and head movement. All right, number six, goes without saying, I only have one little clip from this Canelo versus Kovalev, working the body. That body shot is the gateway to coming in. Sometimes you jab up to the head, go down the body and come up, jab, go down the body, or lead to the body and come right up. The body shot, especially when the opponent is taller, there's a lot of opening there. There's a lot to work with. You can use that body shot to come in and close the gap, work it when you're on the inside, but make sure to take advantage of that. That taller fighter, their head is so much further away. So if they know you're a headhunter, they start to pull and slip. Tall fighters who are slick with head movement, it doesn't take much. just a little turn and you're in. Boom, they can catch you with counters. So make sure that you're not always head hunting. Maybe jab upstairs, jab to the chest, work the body, come back up. Lead to the body, come up top. Body work is essential for the Peekaboo style and pressure fighting. All right, the last one. Sometimes you have a very defensive opponent or a counterpuncher, and you're not always able to create the opportunities just from pressure alone. They move back, they move laterally, they clinch you when you come in. It's hard to get things set up. Sometimes you have to wait for them to give you something before you can go in. You have to work off of what they give you. So you're gonna work the jab, still pressure, but not always launch your whole attack. And when that opportunity comes, you have to be ready. When they throw something, boom, then you're gonna cover, and then you gotta move in. So you have to have that perfect snap timing. You have to have that split-second timing and be ready for when they throw that shot. When they give you something, you gotta be ready to pounce on that and work off of what they give you. So it's very important. Peekaboo style, pressure style, you gotta work off of what they give you. All right, and just a small bonus here, I want you to check this out. Canelo denying the clinch. When the opponent tries to clinch, getting your hand, your palm, inside the bicep here. Opponent tries to clinch you can get your palms right inside that bicep, boom, and throw. Actually, in this case, Canelo, he blocks it and then he ducks under and throws. Kind of a little bit unusual, but every now and then, even in amateur style, someone's gonna try to hold you. You get that palm of your hand inside the bicep here. It's hard for them to get a hold of your elbow, get behind your arm. You deny the clinch, and here I just want you to see that. You could see Canelo, in this case, denying the clinch, and with the continuation of this, he kind of ducks under and sets up a nice attack. A little bonus, when you're going in as the pressure fighter, that taller fighter is gonna wanna tie you up, and any chance you can get to deny the clinch and keep applying pressure is gonna be to your advantage. All right, so 7 tips, actually 7 essential ingredients to the Peekaboo style. When we think about Peekaboo style, it's here, this maximum defense coverage, here, working. It's not just this. This is another dynamic element of it, the head movement. You have to get those hands high, you have to have active defense. And if you're the shorter fighter, pressure fighter, you've got to get to your right range. You got to work the jab, work to the body, come on in, mix it up a bit. Watch this fight, this Canelo versus Kovalev fight. It's exciting. It's excellent the way Canelo made all these adjustments to his game. It was different from his typical game and brought that to this new light heavyweight class against Kovalev and really put on a master display, and as you already know, how the finish was. So go check out that fight, especially if you're working at pressure and Peekaboo style. I'm sure you're gonna learn a lot from it. Remember these 7 tips and even the deny and the clinch. Look for those as you watch the fight, and I guarantee you, this is really gonna up your game and your level for Peekaboo and pressure style fighting. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next video. Peace.